delighted to welcome Kevin Miller, President of Visionbound International. Kevin has had over 20 years of experience presenting to groups nationally and internationally. His specialties areas are customer service, team building, and leadership. He understands how to provide high-impact experiences to our valued customers. He recently toured 7 countries, in Southeast Asia to introduce the power of what he will teach us and soon will be establishing in Ghana, Africa. Kevin has worked with companies ranging in size from Walmart and ConocoPhillips to small retailers. He uses a 3-lane approach to excellence: win loyal customers, provide inspiring leaders, and build winning teams. Help me to welcome Kevin Miller.
Thank you, everyone. All right, today we're going to be talking about one of the most important things we can possibly do in our businesses, and that is win loyal customers. Let me ask you, is it possible for me to be satisfied with a business but not loyal? Yeah. We're going to find in a couple minutes. Loyal customers do 4 things that satisfied customers typically don't. And loyal customers really are your lifeblood. Now, like I said, I retired as an Army officer. I was a company commander in the 7th Infantry Division, Desert Storm, all those good things. And 20 years ago, I retired because I was fascinated with the power of leadership and how we develop extraordinary leadership. So I started Visionbound International. Our motto is accelerating greatness by releasing human potential. But in the last few years, I've become fascinated with this, how to win loyal customers. So welcome to our seminar on winning loyal customers. People say, you know, what's a magic wand, Kevin? Fix my business. And I keep buying these things hoping they'll work. If I could come in and just, you know, wave it around and all of a sudden you're tripling your sales and all your people are treating each other well and all this kind of stuff. And there isn't any magic wand. If there was one, I would say it's extraordinary leadership. How many of you have been around an organization that was just trashed by bad leaders? You've been there, right? I have seen poor leadership take an organization in the toilet in days. I've also seen the power of great leadership, not only on the battlefield, but also in business. And so I became fascinated with that. But then I realized that there's a thing, because great leaders produce loyal employees. And by the way, do you know a connection between if you're loyal to your company and how you treat the external customer? Stephen Covey, who was my closest friend and mentor for many years, he used to say that always treat your people the way you want them to treat your finest customer. So if the finest customer was Gary Herbert and he came in, that's how well you want to treat your people. Because if you trash your people emotionally or physically or mentally and expect them to turn around and give great service, you're way off. So let's begin by having you pair up, and I want you to share a business or a product that you are loyal to. I mean, it could be a hairdresser, it could be a restaurant, it could be, you know, you just love this product, and I want you to share it with the person next to you or this company. Some places you're just loyal to. Go ahead. Very quickly, 36, all right? We hope that somewhere out there in the world, there is someone that is saying Dead Aim Pest Control or such and such a bank. Or we want your customers to be passionate, raving fans. And it's not easy to do. Now, I am loyal to Costco. And when you're loyal to a company, you do 4 things. So when you're loyal to a customer, so we have this little loyalty thing, man. You got people who are limited, moderate, sufficient, maximum loyalty. All right. So what do loyal customers do? First of all, remember that loyalty is an emotion. After 38 years of marriage, I am loyal to my wife. And that is a deep thing that has happened from 38 years of experience. I am loyal to my country. I've had an American soldier die in my arms. I know what loyalty to this country means. All right? It is an emotion that is deep. And it isn't come by just being satisfied with something. It comes deeper. And you're loyal to these companies for a reason. It's an emotion. Look at this dog here. Don't you think, you know, this is loyalty, folks. When you got customers that are just leaning their heads on you going, ah, you know, that's loyalty. And how do we win that kind of loyalty? All right. It is your business's lifeblood, wouldn't you agree? Brings in new customers, brings in new money, it brings in loyal customers are everything to your business. So let's figure this out. I'm loyal to Costco. So what do I do again and again? Come back. So write come back on your handout. You come back again and again. Now when I'm in Costco, what do I end up doing? Buying more. So write buy more. And one time I went to Costco and my wife actually saw I got out for $17. And she said, how did you do that? Because usually I graze. You go down the aisle and they feed me this burrito and I'm always hungry, right? So I come home with these frozen burritos and my wife opens the freezer and goes, where in blank did these come from? You went to Costco, didn't you? And 6 months later she's throwing them out, right? Because she doesn't like processed burritos. But they sure tasted good. So I buy more at Costco, right? I saw this funny cartoon of this cowboy and he's got this big old huge can about this big of Skoal on the back of his horse, and his partner says, I see you've been shopping at Costco. You know, he's got this can of Skoal. It's about 100 gallons. You know, reach back there. All right. So anyway, Costco. So, but this is the most important one. What do you do to your friends? You tell your friends, right? You refer your friends. And that is what loyal customers do. They refer, just like I am right now. Go to Costco, right? Okay, now, the last one is interesting. If they have a suggestion or a complaint, they will share it. They will share their feedback and suggestions with you. One of the things I teach is that a complaint is a gift. Remember that. There's a book called A Complaint is a Gift. Because for every person that complains, there's 22 other people who had the same problem and didn't say anything. So every time someone complains, think of there's 20 other people that probably noticed that. And treat them like gold. Thank you. Thank you for bringing, because you can fix it, right? You need complaining customers. You know, if they have an issue. All right, so, but they're also going to offer suggestions and feedback. So if Costco doesn't have something, like my wife likes these little small cans of V8, then I'll go fill it out, and they usually send a thing, we'll get it in for you, and sure enough, they'll bring in a case for us. I want them. The reason is that I am emotionally bonded to Costco. I'm sorry. I just like, oh boy, I get to go to Costco. Now, I'm doing my first Walmart store with this program in Orem, Utah. And my friend is the regional director of Walmart. And his wife says, nobody gets up in the morning and says, I want to go to Walmart today. He says, they say, I have to go to Walmart. You're right? Like, oh, I want to go to Walmart. I got to go to Walmart. And I'm not putting Walmart down, okay? But the fact is, she says, when we can get people waking up going and saying, I want to go to Walmart today, she says, Kevin, can you get that to happen? And I go, I don't know. That's a big step, right? But that's what loyal customers do. Now, how many of you have someone who does these things? You know who they are. You could probably right now know who's loyal. You see them a lot. They buy more. They come back. They refer their friends. Treat them like gold. Whatever it does to hold them and keep them and win more of them is what we're talking about. So I'm going to give you just a few practical ideas of how to win loyal customers. All right. So they come back, they buy more, they refer their friends, and they offer their feedback and suggestions. So let's say that I started a business and I wanted to win your loyalty. At your tables for a minute, talk about what is it that wins loyalty for you. Because loyalty for me might be different for John here. So what does a company need to do to win your loyalty? I speak on cruise ships. Cruise ships give me free cruises for my wife if I will present on cruise ships. And so I was on a cruise ship with Seabourn, which is my favorite cruise line. And the waiter met my wife and I, and we just happened to like him, so we went to his table every night. And he got to know Kevin and Denise, and he found out we didn't drink alcohol, so by the second night he wouldn't even set the wine glasses out. And he treated us like a king for like 10 days. 18 months later, my wife and I walk on a different ship in the same cruise line, and he was there. When he walked in, he said, Kevin, Denise, you're back. 18 months later, 1,000 passengers, he remembers my wife and I by name, and he says, they are mine. He brings us over, pulls our chairs back, and says, and you don't drink alcohol. I still can't share that story without chills. Who else am I going to sail with than Seabourn? Right? It's just going to happen because he won my loyalty for life. And they treat me so well when we go on that ship that it's just like heaven, right? So, now, Walt Disney said, we will do what we do so well that the people who see it will want to see it again and bring friends. Isn't that a great quote? How many of you would agree that Disney does that pretty well? Yeah, they do, don't they? It is the happiest place on earth. When my grandchildren turn 8, they get a free 3-day trip to Disneyland with Grandpa and Grandma. These are my two little nieces, or my two little granddaughters. They're 11 days apart. And when they checked in, they gave them this little button that says, Happy Birthday, and they wrote their name, Alyssa and Rebecca. What do you think they heard about 100 times? Happy birthday, Alyssa, always by name. Happy birthday, Rebecca. And in fact, now I found out Grandpa's mission that day, besides paying for the whole thing, was to stand in line. Okay, so I stood in line for an hour for them to meet Tinkerbell. I stood for 2 hours for them to meet the Frozen princesses. They would just leave and ride, they'd come and when I got 2 people in front of the line and they're, whoop, okay? That's what grandpas do, right? But I remember Tinkerbell's hugging all over him, you know, and she said, I had a birthday the other day. I'm 305. And my little, like that. And they're 8 years old, right? But they walked away and they heard her say, she doesn't look 305. You know, I wanted to say, she's 20, but I didn't say anything, right? Disney creates those magic moments. When my wife was her birthday a few years ago, she had the same thing. Happy birthday, Denise. We were watching the Christmas parade. We were 3 people deep on Main Street. And as a float went by, a little cheery voice said, Happy birthday, Denise. It was Mrs. Claus, 80 feet away on the top of a float, found my wife by name and wished her a happy birthday. I pulled my camera up because it didn't stop there. Santa turned around and said, Happy birthday and Merry Christmas, Denise. And you know what happened? Before my very eyes, my wife turned 6 again. Santa, Santa, Santa. All the people around us are kind of going, you know. I would pay anything for my wife to have that kind of joy. And that moment was just amazing. Now, I realized there's no way a little old lady could read that 80 feet away. So the next time I was there, I watched how they do it. She's got a receiver in her ear. And next to the float, there's a guy walking by, going on the left, John birthday, brown, gray shirt. So all I got to do is find a guy with a pin, make eye contact, and say, Happy birthday, John. You know, on the right, whatever. Now this is Disney does it because they care enough to do. Lagoon doesn't do that. All right? Okay. But Disney does. Yeah. You've got to create magical moments like that. And that's what happens. Now, this is my favorite training toy in all the world. It's called a Hoberman sphere. I take this everywhere with me. This is your business right now. And the size of this is the impact you're having in the market. It's made up of all these people. Each one of you is a part of this. Every person you hire. It's not just your people, though. It's also your systems, your processes. What would happen if instead of being this good, you become that good? Isn't that cool? Ooh. Okay, I need to do it again with a sound effect. I'm going to go, ooh. One, two, three. Ooh. All right. So now you're this profitable, this successful. Now, you're not going to go from here to here by wishing it. Hope is not a strategy. Remember that. Hope is not a strategy. Hoping the enemy would not use chemical weapons against my soldiers in Desert Storm was not a good strategy. I had to put them in chemical suits in 120 degrees to save their lives, right? Hope is not a strategy. But what can I show with this? First of all, how many parts of this ball are moving as the ball grows? Every molecule. I'll prove it. If I hold any part of this ball still, the entire ball is constrained. How many of you believe that 2 staff with a BMW attitude, I call them the bitch, moan, and whine club, the BMW. Bitch, moan, and whine, bitch, moan, and whine, bitch, moan, and whine, okay? BMW club, that great? Okay. It was worth your whole hour just to learn that, you know? You probably know who the president of the BMW club is in your organization, right? Do you think their attitude holds the whole team back? Yeah, it spreads like a cancer, right? That's why I have that fix or fire rule on people, right? So the bottom line is, now, when your customers or staff come to work or your business and they feel good, they feel there's no pain here. I love to do business with you. I love to work here. So, but this is the way a lot of people feel coming to work. Ow! Okay, or customers. It's painful to do business with you. It's painful to come to work. I call it labor pain. You ladies know what that is. Well, there's another kind of labor pain, and that's why over 70% of people say they don't like their jobs in this country. 50 to 70% of people say they do not like their work. So we all have stories like that. All right. Now, what can I cover? Okay, but I want you to also remember that customer loyalty is about building relationships, and relationships are built on trust. Trust. Now, trust is an issue of two things, your people plus your systems. I like Costco because they're really nice to me in Spanish Fork, but their systems make it easy for me to do business with Costco. If I need to return something, they got everything I bought. They double the warranty. If it's warranty is good for a year, Costco will double it for you. It's painless to do business with them. And so you can have now, Stephen Covey said if you put really good people in really bad systems, the systems win. But he also said if you put average people in great systems, they can do great work. Would you agree with that? Hire an average 17-year-old and have a great system, they can do great work. You could hire the best person in the world and put them in a crappy system that frustrates them and everything else. Yeah. All right. Customers only want two things, folks. It's on your handout. Let me make this simple. This is going to be the title of the book I release also, okay? Only two things your customers want. It's on your handout, partway down, there'll be a fill in the blank, very bottom of the page. Everybody see it? Customers only want two things. Okay, number one, solve my problem. Write that in. Folks, all customer service is for solving a problem. All businesses exist to solve a problem. When I go to bed tonight, I need a comfortable bed. I need it clean. That's what I better get. But I could get a decent bed in this town in dozens of places, okay? I'm just loyal to Hilton because I'm an honor, whatever, they're super duper honor dude, okay? So solve my problem, all right? But I promise you, you will only get to 7 or 8 by doing this. Why? Because people expect it. I'm not going to walk out of Safeway going, wow, they had eggs and milk. Wow, he kills pests. Okay, wow, where do you work? Holiday Inn. Okay, she's going, grr, 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 grr. All right. So here's how you win the 9 and 10. Leave me feeling great about the experience. All right, not good, great. And then you want to be uniquely nice to me. Unique means special. Now, we don't have time to talk too much in here about how to be uniquely nice, but would you say a guy that can remember my name 18 months later, that's unique, right? Thanks me for being a soldier, thanks me for being in the service, notices my tie, notices my kids, anything that makes me feel like I'm not just a number. I'm sorry, we only got 5 minutes left. Take this back to your office, okay? And everybody pick one of these things and try them. Okay? Now, everybody pay attention. Okay, so then what I did was I created a deck of 33 specific tips that you can do to impact a customer. Everyone at this table should have 2 of those tips, 2 of the 33. They're numbered 1 through 33, the little cards. If you do not, raise your hand, and we will make sure that you have some of them, okay? Now, what I've done is I've just done research, and I said, and here's why I built this workshop. I've done a 1,000-person hospital in Gallup, New Mexico with this. I've done it all over the world, okay? I want to teach people correct principles and let them govern themselves. Some of you may be familiar with that quote. A great leader said that. Teach people correct principles, let them govern themselves, okay? I would rather everybody in the store choose 1 card out of the 33. Notice what's on the back of the card. 21 boxes. What do you think I mean with that? If you do something 21 times, it starts being a habit, okay? So what you do is, so in the workshop, everybody gets the full deck. And what they do is in the workbook, that goes with the workshop, they actually have 3 stacks that they lay these out in. Things that they sometimes do, rarely do, and often do. Okay, so there's 3 stacks on page 12 of this. This is the half-day workshop, all right? So what they do is they put them into these stacks, often, sometimes, and rarely. And then, and if I did that right now, if you all had 33 cards, and I asked you to hold up the one card you're going to start with, they're going to be different. Some people are going to be being nice to children. Some people are going to be using the customer's name. I want your people to choose. Now, if they do it 21 times, then you can reward them. Some companies I work with have a 21 club. If you do it 21 times, you're entered in the 21 club, and they give you a little token or something like that. Okay, so anyway, the workshop is really fun because everybody's got these cool ideas, right? And they get to do them, and there's 21 boxes on the back, and they can check it off. I'm getting an app made. It'll take me a while, but they'll actually be able to spin through them, flip them over, and check off that they've done it. And they can even make it a screensaver on their phone to remind them to smile more today or whatever. Because, my friends, if you want to change an organization, change behavior. Your company doesn't behave, your people behave. And I cannot tell you how well this works. It's magical. I'm getting them translated into Spanish. We're taking them to, I did it in the Philippines last month, taking it to Africa. It's just really fun. It's a fun workshop because I want people to leave with skills. Folks, I believe in this. We need to return humaneness to work. It's becoming so technical now that people are starving for human connections, and I hope that you'll just do these. But anyway, thank you for coming. This has been fun for me. I want to end with something very, very cool. Just a minute here. Just a minute. Yeah. All right. 2 quotes. Maya Angelou said something you probably have heard. They may not remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. I am a grandfather of 6. And I remember this. When my grandchildren come, they will not remember anything Grandpa said, but they will always remember how Grandpa made them feel. And that's all I care about 50 years from now, is when they talk about, do you remember how it felt to be around Grandpa? Folks, that's the same with your customers. How did you leave me feeling? And the second one is, Mother Teresa, there are no great things, only small things done with great love.